1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. The support has been amazing, man. We've grown the channel so fast. I've had a blast putting out all this content for you guys. Also want to tell you guys, now available in the link in the description below, I have coaching lessons. We have 30-minute sessions, 60-minute sessions. It's a one-on-one with me, helping you guys improve at whatever you want to improve at in Madden 20. The scheduling is easy. Once you purchase, there's a PDF file that will tell you exactly how to schedule your appointment. Make sure you guys like this video, man. Hope you're subscribed to the channel. In today's video, my giveaway for you guys is my whole defensive guide, my defensive ebook, everything I run on defense. Some of the formations are meta formations that you have seen, and some of the things you haven't seen. And that's part of the giveaway. The other part of the giveaway for you guys is I'm going to give away 2 free one-on-one coaching sessions. All you have to do to be eligible to win is comment down below anything. You can just comment what you want to improve on, what you would use the coaching session for, just really anything. As long as you comment down below, like this video, you will be eligible. I'll pick 2 winners in about a week, and I'll contact you guys directly and let you know, and we'll set those up. So I'm really excited for the future, guys. But that's it for this intro. Hope you guys enjoy this free defensive ebook. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so in this defensive ebook, there's a number of formations we're going to break down, and some of these things you guys already know, some of these plays you've already seen, whether it be in tip videos or in gameplay, but some of the stuff I'm going to show you that you might not know, some formations that aren't really that popular. But overall, whether you've seen it before or you haven't, it's just my whole defensive game plan all here together. I'm going to show you guys how I utilize even the popular meta formations and the way I like to run them versus different things. So it's just my whole defensive game plan. And the formations we're going to break down are out of 3-4 odd, 3-4 even, nickel 2-4-5, big dime 2-3-6 will, and big dime 1-4-6. So let's jump into it. First, we're going to check our run defense out of 3-4 odd. Well, actually, we'll show run and pass defense out of, say if you're facing something out of, something like a strong close or for this sake, weak close. Or even like an I form tight. So we'll just start with I form tight. We'll hit them with a little stretch, and then we'll go to some passing formations. So my audibles I like out of 3-4 odd are cover 4 drop show. I like to keep pinch bug 0 there at Y, pinch dog 2 press at LB, and storm brave at RB. And I always come out in edge blitz 1 flipped. Okay, so that's what we're going to come out and we're going to flip our formation. Personnel, I like to have 2 good outside corners, typically fast and have great man coverage if you're an ultimate team. Safeties, I like just speed because you're usually going to lurk on this strong safety. So the free safety, you usually just want a good, just a good guy, just a good player in general. Speed is obviously preferenced. Defensive line, we want our goon at D tackle, so I'd probably put Derek Wolf there, to be honest. We want like our best guy at D tackle for the sheds and the dives. We want the best guys we can get on the bigger guys on the 2 DNs. Outside linebacker, we want good shedders, so I'd probably keep Chubb and Von Miller there. That's typically some guys you want there. Then inside linebacker, you want your speed guys there. They don't have to have much else. I don't really know the Broncos personnel that well. I believe this Johnson guy is pretty fast, but I'm not sure about Todd Davis. But you want your 2 fastest guys besides, so you want your best linebackers at outside linebacker, but then you want your 2 fastest after that at inside linebacker. So that's the personnel that's come out in Edge Blitz 1. Edge Blitz 1, as some of you will know, it's one of the most popular defenses. We're just going to press. We're going to shift our D-line down. We're going to spread our linebackers, and we're going to globally blitz our linebackers, and then we're going to crash our D-line down. So you globally blitz all linebackers with right on the D-pad, then down the right stick. Then to crash your D-line down, you do left on the D-pad, down the right stick. So it's going to look like this, and then we like to contain. So the way I like to run these now, I broke down another video on my channel, which I'll put in the description below, how if they try to flip the formation or motion it to the left side, we're gonna man align. We're gonna Y and RB so that our safety will follow to the strong side. But if we just run it stock like this, we should be fine. Sometimes a quick tip I like to do is I like to move these linebackers on the inside out a teeny bit like that as well. And then, so for the stretch, we're really just waiting right here and cleaning up whatever we see. And I'm going to break down a little tip on the dive that I like to do that I don't know if a lot of people know, but okay, let's just run it versus stretch first. So we're going to just stretch to the right side, So as you can see, that's what usually happens in edge blitz. Our linebackers come on the inside like that. As most of you know how edge blitz works, so I don't need to break this down too much. Verse stretch, those linebackers will usually come in, but you just want to come down with your guy and clean this up. Now I just want to break down, well, we don't have the dive in the audibles, but let me go to dive and show you guys a little strategy I like to do versus dive. So same setup, and now versus dive is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna come in here right about in this A gap right here, right? So we're gonna start back here though, but we're gonna rush that A gap kind of right here, and then we're gonna kind of swerve. Okay, so it's going to be hard to do for me with two controllers, but you want to kind of do is come down in this A gap to make, so it's going to make the O-line recognize your guy. Then that's going to cause your linebackers to usually come in clean, but you're going to come down, swerve, and get to the other side. So you want to kind of go from this A gap to the other one, and you'll see what I mean once you get into the groove of it and once you get this down. So you're going to kind of come in, swerve, and get to the other A gap, but let me try to do this with two controllers if I can here. So we're going to swerve like that, and usually you're going to get a guy free coming from the right side, so you want to protect your left side. So let me go ahead and show you the replay real quick. So you want to kind of crash down, boom, in here, and your guy's going to try to, so the fullback or one of the linemen is usually going to recognize my guy, which is usually going to cause a guy to come clean or get an easy shed, as you see happens here. And then we just want to clean up that left A gap right there where we are in case he goes up that side. So that's a little tip I like to use for the dive. Let me see, and then so that's our run D for mainly every formation where you have two running backs. Even if they have two tight ends and one running back sets, I like that. I like edge blitz a lot. Overstorm Brave I'll go to if they're in a formation like this. Like I usually prefer Overstorm Brave versus some of the single back formations. So like if you see like a single back wing flex close, or even like a wing slot like this, if we can see, yeah, I really prefer the Overstorm Brave. It's not as good as it was at the beginning of the year, but I like to just, so my setup is just to globally blitz linebackers, and I like to move this guy outside to the tight inside like that, move this linebacker back a little bit so he's even with that linebacker, and I like to crash my D line up. So it's going to look like this. And like I said, this defense is not as good as it was beginning of the year. It's not going to get the best guys to come up the middle like this, but it's still a decent enough containment with you moving your guy out. So you want to just kind of run over and clean up whatever you see over there. As you can see, we would watch the middle right there, and then we have Von Miller on the outside cleaning that up. So that's I like to go Overstorm Brave when I see like two tight end sets like that. I want to break down now what I like to do if people are passing, and I usually will go to the cover two. I'll audible to my pinch dogs defense. Let me get into a formation that is more likely to, be a difficult challenge for passing. Alright guys, so if I see a set like this that I know and they're in a passing situation, I usually will go to the cover 2 pinch dog press. And my setup, I like to blitz all linebackers, crash down, and I like to just man up one of the receivers. So like the solo side right here, X, I like to man him up, keep the cover 2 over here, and lurk right here. So we're going to be bringing a heavy blitz, and we're going to be able to lurk from the middle to the left over here with our free safety, and it's really going to make them have to make a quick read. And it looks just like our run defense that we've been doing. So it really kind of, everything looks the same, and that's what we want to do on defense. So let's go ahead and run it. So we're going to lurk from here, and then we're going to get a free rusher. It's really hard for them to pass out of under center when you're bringing 7 rushers in this game. Like, it's one of the most difficult things to do to pick up the heat. So I like to do that. Then I'll do the same exact setup out of cover 4. And I will just man up the guy again as well. And now I'll keep the cover 4. And I like to do this defense in more of a 3rd and long, 4th and long situation where they have to go deep, but they're staying in under center. So this right here is really going to be, you're not going to give, like, you're fine with giving up the little flat over here if it's like 3rd and 15 or whatever, 3rd and 10. So don't worry about that. You just want to get the instant heat, and you want to make them, you don't want them to beat you deep. So as you can see, we'll get a free rusher. And they're usually going to go to like a halfback wheel flat combo, so they won't really max protect out of under center. It's very unlikely. You might see it, but we're going to have all the routes covered because they're not going to send out a lot if they do max protect. And the heat still sheds easily versus under center formations. So those are the defenses I like to go to versus under center. Let's jump into 3-4 even. Alright guys, when breaking down this 3-4 even, we have some very specific directions we like to follow here. And the first thing I want to point out is if you don't have the right personnel as far as speed at outside linebacker goes, I really like to go over 2 times to the left to the strong safety at linebacker package. It's going to allow us to get extra speed there outside linebacker. So for here, we're going to have 22 there. I believe that's Kareem Jackson. And then we're going to keep Von Miller there, obviously, because he's one of the best linebackers in the game. So that's our personnel. And now every time we're going to come out in pinch buck 0, but make sure you have your audible set because, so for me I like cover 3 cloud and Tampa 2. Those are my 2 audibles, but you could have a cover 3 sky in there if you wanted. You could have basically any zone in there you wanted because we're going to audible to these, but we're going to make everything look the same. And I'll show you what I mean, but every time we're going to come out in pinch buck 0. And right when you come out, you're going to globally blitz your linebackers right away. So right on the D-pad, down the right stick. Then we're going to press twice or press as many times as we have to until your linebackers come up in the gap, giving it a sugar look just like that. Then I like to crash my D-line down, which is left on the D-pad down on the right stick. Then I like to contain. And I like to shade outside as well. So it's going to look just like this. And I like to come down with my safety right here and hover over if we want to send the heavy heat like this. But you don't have to. You can keep him back. You just probably won't get the instant screamer. You can keep him back if you want and lurk with him here as well. I like some adjustments. You can keep the man-to-man coverage if you want. I prefer that versus if you're like in a spread set, but if you it's like a long situation. But here, my basic setup I like to do versus bunch out of this is just cover to the right side like that. And I like to man up this safety on the halfback like this, and then hover here for about 2 seconds after the hike, and then run back. We're going to go middle to left. That's where we're going to lurk. So basically this area over here, and watch the middle as well. So I'm going to show you guys how fast it screams here. We're going to come in like that, and we're going to get 3 guys basically coming in. So I think a lot of people know about the 3-4 even. You guys know how good it can be. Now is where I really want to show you how we can scheme around this, okay? And so what you're going to do every time you're going to come out, same thing. You're going to globally blitz. You're going to press, keep pressing until your guys come down. So they came down, crash down, and contain. So now we got it in our man-to-man pinch buck 0 defense. But now is when, after you do that beginning adjustments, now you want to audible. Okay, so I like to audible to cover 3 cloud, and before you audible to cover 3 cloud, or excuse me, right when you get to pay attention to this, because right when you audible to cover 3 cloud, you want to press right away, because you don't want to really give a tell that you're audibling, and it is a little bit of a tell because your corners will move back a little bit in your safety. So what I like to do also is move this safety in just right when you come out, like go like that. Just move him a step so he won't move once you audible. Okay, so now we're here set, audible to cover 3 cloud, and press. You saw my outside corner moved a tad bit, but if you're quick enough, you can't really notice. So now we have our defense set up like this. And the beauty of this now is if you want to globally blitz and send the house, you can. If you want to keep it a 4-man rush and get some good sheds with great coverage like this, you can. So it's really all preference. We're just mixing up our coverages now to make everything look the exact same. So you can come over here. Another adjustment I like to make is I like to man up the guy again on the outside like this. So now we just have to lurk over here. You can even put our linebacker here in a curl flat, and you can shade down, turn them into hard flats, or you can shade up, turn them into cloud flats. So I'd like to do this, and then I would just come in here, lurk again, hover like this again. And we're going to have a 4-man rush, but it's going to look the exact same, and they're not going to know. So now we can come back. We can lurk whatever we see. So yeah, basically we're just disguising our coverages out of this 3-4 even look. It's one of the best screamers in the game, and now we're being able to play coverage defense out of it, so we're very diverse from it. So now I want to just show you guys the Tampa 2 setup as well. So same thing. Set it up like this. Audible real quick and press. And now out of this, you can do whatever you want. Again, I prefer something like this, where we're gonna deep half or deep third. Put the middle linebacker in a deep blue right there. We can come back. We can lurk at him. We can man up the solo side as well again, and then we can lurk with even this guy. You just don't want to really give a tell. That's your main thing when you play defense. But I just wanted to point out that you can come out in that pinch buck, but audible after you set up your defense and make everything look the exact same. But you're also switching coverages. Alright guys, now we're going to break down the nickel 2-4-5, and it's one of my favorite formations in the game. This is my base defense that I've ran for the last several months. It's very similar to the Big Dime 236, which we saw was very popular at the DreamHack tournament that Prodigy took down. But out of the nickel 245, I love it because it gets great sheds, and it's a base defense. So I'm not going to really send heat out of it, but I'm going to be able to play great coverage. I'm going to get some good, be able to get some good sheds. So setting up your personnel for this, I like to have my two best. The Broncos are a tough team to show you for this, but you like to have your two best pass rushers on the inside here. So if you're using the Niners, you want Bosa and D4 to this spot, and then you want your two fastest linebackers on the outside linebacker spot. So with the Broncos, it's tough because they don't have great interior pass rushers. So I'm just going to keep Miller and Chubb on the outsides. But like, say if you're the Niners, you would want, like I said, D Ford and Nick Bosa on the inside, and then you'd want like Fred Warner and Quan Alexander on the outside linebackers because they're going to be in contains. So speed and awareness, play recognition, that's what you want outside linebacker, and then you want pass rush. And if you had some pass rush abilities, that would really be huge on this inside because they're going to get great sheds, and then those contains on the outside are really going to get good sheds as well with the speed. So here at the linebacker spots, I like to have safeties there, so I'll sub in some of my fastest safeties I have. Nickel, I like to have a lot of speed there, and then outside corners, I like to have my best players there, and then safeties. If you're in regs, you got to just manage what you can. If you're in mud, I really prefer to have a great secondary for this defense. So first, I want to point out, you always want to have, I can't go to coaching adjustments in practice mode, but you always want to have your man align on so that if they're in bunch left, you'll have your slot corner to the left side. If they're in bunch to the right, you'll have your slot corner to the right side. Okay, so I'm going to break down pass defense and run defense out of this. First, we'll go over the pass defense. Audibles for this formation for me are cover 2 man, cover 4 palms, Tampa 2, and cover 3 cloud. If I'm playing something like bunch, I really like to go to corner blitz 3. I broke that down in a video on my channel, which I'll post in the description, so I'm not going to break that down, but that's the play I will come out in if I see a lot of bunch because there's a great bunch defense out of that. So I'll just come out in that shortly here and show you guys different ways you can defend bunch out of this nickel 245. But if you want the full breakdown on that bunch defense, definitely check out that video on my channel. All right, so here we go. So I like mainly when I see bunch for the first time, the game's just starting, I like to just not give up anything deep. As you guys know, I'm a very conservative player. I like to just give up underneath stuff. I like to give up flat routes. So I'll literally come out in cover 3 cloud, and I always like to pinch my defense. And you do that by pressing LB or L1 if you're on PlayStation 4 and down the left stick. It's going to shift your entire defense to pinch. So it's going to look like that. And then I like, literally all I do for this is the most simplest bunch defense. All you have to do is shade your coverage down, put them in hard flats, and shade them back up and they're in cloud flats. I like to shade outside as well. Last adjustment is like to contain. And this is all you literally have to do. It's a basic cover 3 cloud, but it's one of the best bunch defenses. But one of the best, if you're just a beginner playing Madden, I would say cover 3 cloud with man align on, lined up correctly, is just one of the best basic defenses you could possibly play. You can literally just sit in this and lurk with your middle inside linebackers, and you won't give up anything crazy as long as you're careful. It's one of the most simplest defenses ever. Also, one other quick adjustment I like to make is sometimes I'll put this guy right here in a spy. You can put either of these D tackles in a spy, depending on if you want to rush 3. I prefer that if you're playing something like an escape artist, a mobile quarterback like Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. But if you're playing someone like Tom Brady, I would probably just sit and rush 4. I wouldn't worry about the spy. So it's all preference there. And then we like to contain, so we have these guys on the outside in contains. So usually I'll lurk on the cover 2 side with this yellow. But if they're running a lot of corner routes to the bunch side, and you really want to get out there and try to use some of those, you can also lurk with this guy. So I prefer to lurk with one of these 2 linebackers, and it's just going to be a really simple base defense. And I like this versus pretty much every formation on offense to start the game, just to see what my opponent's going to do, and then I can adjust from there. So yeah, we're just going to lurk with this guy, and we're going to really cover the middle, and then, you know what I mean? So it's just a basic defense. It really doesn't give up anything crazy. Let's break down the next play here. And I like to go to cover 4 palms versus bunch. So setup I like to do is man up the solo side receiver, just like that. And then I like to put the strong safety here back in a deep half. So it's going to look like that. And then I like to shade down like that. So you're going to have now a great match defense. The only thing I wouldn't recommend is if they start motioning out their vertical route here on the left side out of verticals. That can kind of beat this defense. But if they don't do that, if they just stay in their regular bunch like this, cover 4 palms with these adjustments can be a really good bunch defense, as I'll show you right now. As you can see, we match on everything. The safety decides to match on that post, so it really can cause problems for the offense. Also, versus in this formation, my main thing that I love to do is just mix coverages out of nickel 2-4-5, just because of the great sheds it gets. So as long as you're not giving up anything deep, so I will literally run cover 2 man like this. Like you can literally run it stock. A couple adjustments I like to make is put this guy in a purple. I like to keep the deep halves usually out there just for protection, but you can put them in purples if you wanted to or something. I'll usually have a setup like this. Cover 2 man. Also want to show you guys Tampa 2, and it's going to be pretty easy setup as well. You're just going to put your one of your middle linebackers in a deep blue like that, and then I love this slot corner right here in a vert hook. It's going to bump off the line. It's going to play great coverage. So that basically, guys, the reason I love nickel 2-4-5 versus the pass is because it's just so basic. It's so simple. You don't have to make a lot of adjustments. And for beginners out there or guys that are not as quick on the sticks with making adjustments or manning guys up, it's very simple defense that you can be very effective with as long as you play smart. And that's why I wanted to break down to you guys, because I love this as a base formation. Also wanted to show you guys my favorite trips tight end defense out of cover 4 palms. Like we said, cover 3 cloud, the base defense will work. Cover 2, Tampa 2 as well will work with trips tight end. But trips tight end, a little adjustment I like to make is once we shade our pinch our defense down, I like to put this free safety right here in just a deep half like this. And it's really gonna activate the match defense even better. As you'll see here, we're just in PA shot wheel, and it's gonna create awesome match defense. As you see, they all line up with each other. They all basically cross man each other to create a nice match concept, and it's really one of my favorite trips tight end defenses that I used this year as well as using last year. Alright guys, now I really want to break down my run defense I really love out of nickel 2-4-5. I broke down kind of a universal concept on my channel for run defense 101 if you see that on my channel, but I like to come out in this double safety blitz when I'm playing a formation that I know can be run heavy. I literally like this defense versus 2 running back formations as well. It's really good. You're going to come out in double safety blitz, and what it's going to do is now it's going to bring your safeties in the box like this, okay? So now what you want to do, right, you don't want to press anything really. Then you just want to audible to cover 4 palms, just like that. All right, and now you can literally just keep it like this. Something I like to do, I like to shift the defense a little bit, so I'll just take these safeties, move them over a step each, and then I'll shift my defense, pinch them down like that. And now it's a match defense, so it's going to play phenomenal run defense. The gap integrity is great. They're all in the run fits. So now I like to just lurk on the yellow right here, and it's going to just play phenomenal run defense, and that's why I love this versus formations that are kind of balanced, that you don't know if they're passing or you don't know they're running. Say it's like a strong close or a split or a shotgun split close, and they can audible down, something like that. I really just love this defense. It just plays great base run defense. Let's go ahead and run a little off tackle here. And as you can see, the safeties, I'm going to show you guys the replay, because the safeties are in the run fits, and they play phenomenal run defense when they're down in the box like that in the match defense, what we audible to. So as you can see, we get great sheds. We get our free safety coming down into the box. Then we can be there with our user to clean it up. Backside looks great as well. Now I want to point out that say they start passing every play out of this. Don't worry about that, because you can do this concept and audible to any play you want. So now we can audible to cover 3 cloud, move our guys a step, shift our defense, and now we're in cover 3 cloud, but the safeties are in the box as well. It's gonna play a little. It's gonna be better run defense than if they weren't in the box. So that's just a little tip to utilize this nickel 2-4-5 for run defense as well. All right, guys. Now the next formation is gonna be 2-3-6 will, and there's only 2 plays I like out of this, and it's DB Fire 2. We know how good that play is. It has been good, for so many years now. Out of like things like dollar. 2-3-6 will is basically the same thing as $3-2-6. So the only other play I like is cover 3 cloud, which I put in my audibles here, but cover 3 cloud is one of the best bunch defenses as well, and trips tight end. I like to have it man align on for this as well, so we're going to have our yellow in the slot line up with their slot receiver. I don't need to go over DB Fire 2. You guys know how good that is. You literally just want to bring your inside, your nickel, or your slot corners inside to the line like that. If you want to bring heat, you can make adjustments, run a cover 2 setup as well, man those guys up, do whatever you want. But the defense I want to break down is that cover 3 cloud. All I like to do is, it's a simple defense as well. All I like to do is press, shade down, shade up, and shade outside. So it's going to look like this. And I like to take my slot corner right here and man him up on their slot receiver, which is RB. So it's gonna look like that. I like to bring these guys down a little bit into the box, and then we can lurk on either of these linebackers here, depending on what you want to do. Sometimes you want to watch out for that halfback wheel route out of the backfield, so I'll lurk with him. If you're worried about the tight end, maybe they're running clear out where the tight end's on a post, or tight end's on an angle route, or maybe they're doing a little motion post with B on mesh post or something like that, and you want to lurk right here back in the middle. So, but RB you don't need to worry about because RB is pretty covered. You want a good man-covered, speedy guy here for this spot. And yeah, so you're just going to lurk on this linebacker right here or this guy right here. Let's go ahead and run the play so you guys can see. So we get a little bump off the line. They do have Edelman there, so it's better. But as you can see, everything's pretty much covered. That slot receiver will always be bagged. It's going to get a good bump and press animation. And it's going to be difficult for them to get it off, and especially if you have some shedders in the D-line, they can get in quickly. All right, fellas, the final formation is that big dime 1-4-6, one of the most popular formations all year. So many different ways you can run it. I'm going to show you guys something a little different that you might not know, and I really became more accustomed to this formation later on here in the year. I wasn't a huge fan of it the whole year, really, just because it's a little risky to me, or it was a little risky, and you got to kind of send heat out of this. It was a little vulnerable to some things, but I'm really starting to get comfortable with it, much better with it now, and I figured out a couple ways how to run it even better. So the personnel, we like to have our best deep pass rushers on the outside. We like to have a good, if we had power specialist or pass rush elite on this D tackle right here, that would be phenomenal. It makes the defense insane. Speed right here, probably you want just some low overall guys. You obviously want a great secondary, and then we can put some backup safeties here to lurk with. We can keep, if you have fast linebackers, that'll work as well. So in our audibles, we're gonna have cover 3 sky and cover 2 sink, DB sting, cover 2 man. So all these plays are very important for the scheme. Every time now we're going to come out in DB Sting 2 Buzz, and that's very important that you guys come out in this, as some of you might know, but it's very important that you come out in this play because it's going to create a sugar look out of this formation. So, different ways we run this defense. I'm going to show you guys, most of you probably know the basic setup, if you just want to blitz the whole team, you're just going to come out, press, blitz your linebackers, and contain, move these guys in just a tad. And now we're going to be blitzing the whole team. I usually adjustment, if I want to blitz the whole team, I like to do, like we saw the 3-4 even or something like this. I'll man up the running back here, and I'll come down and hover right here like this. So it's going to look like that. So we're going to have cover 2 there, and we're going to have man-to-man on the solo side, and we're just going to lurk the middle. So as you guys know, that screams from both sides, especially, even if they max protect, it's very difficult to pick up. Same setup out of our Y audible, which is DB Sting, like this. It's basically the same exact thing. I like to keep that in my audibles because sometimes I'll go to the man-to-man version of it. So like this, you guys know how good that is. But now I'm going to break down how I like to run my other defenses, and I like to make everything look the same, like we know. So first, we're going to go to cover 2 man, and the key now is we're going to bring these guys inside before. So let me reset the play. Right when we come out in our DB Sting 2 Buzz, we're going to press, and we're going to move our slot corners inside just like this. Already right now, and now is when we audible. So similar to the 3-4 even, now we're going to audible. So we're on audible that cover 2 man, we're going to press right away. So it looks like this, but we're going to keep our guy. Now our guys aren't going to move now. Even if they use motion, our guys are going to stay the same. So it still looks like we're in that cover 2 zone, and we're trying to trick our opponent on offense. That's the whole point of playing defense, is make everything look the same, disguise everything. So it's going to look just like that. And now my simple adjustment I like to do is put my linebacker Y right here in a purple, like that. And it's fine if they move back. Sometimes I like to mainly move my linebackers back, especially if they're trying to quick throw a streak over the middle or something. I like to move my linebackers back like that. But you can keep them in the sugar look if you want. That's all preference. So that'll be my adjustments. And I usually lurk on the bunch side in case of verticals here. We're in man-to-man. So just like this. And you can, as you can see, man-to-man, if you have a lot of speed back there, man-to-man out of 146 is very good just because we have all those DBs back there. So now the strategy for the next two plays, which are cover 2 sink and cover 3 sky. And I also forgot to mention for this big dime 146, I never have man align on. You always want man align off for this because I like to keep the formation how it is because I'm going to show you right here the perfect example. Cover 2 sink when we audible to it. So first we're going to put our guys in position like we said. When we audible to cover 2 sink now, we're going to have this guy over here on the left side blitzing, right? Not on the right side, just on the left side, and that's fine. But so it's basically a strategy game. If we want to come from the left side, we're going to go cover 2 sink. And now if we want to come from the right side, we're just going to audible to cover 3 sky. And as you'll see, now this guy's coming. Okay, so basically I like to keep it simple, and I like to just know what side I'm coming from. But you don't have to run the defense that way. That's just the way I prefer. And I'll just make adjustments. So when I run the cover 3 sky, I like to put this guy right here in a deep half, and then I like to cloud flat my outside guy. So I have a cover 3 cloud look now, contain like this. So another strategy, I like to really run whatever side the halfback is on. So for something like this, where bunch is on the right, I would go to cover 2 sink. So I'd have this guy coming. But say they flip their bunch now, I would audible to cover 3 sky. And I would have this guy coming now free. So like that. So basically I like to come whatever side the halfback is blocking from. I don't like to have the tight end side blocking just because they usually will sometimes max protect when they see 146. And as we know, we can get that free rush, especially if they don't block the running back or max protect. So it's all basically a strategy game, guys, when you're running this 146 or when you're playing defense in general. So yeah, we're basically coming out in that DB sting like we said. We're gonna press, we're gonna contain, we're gonna move these guys in, and then we can go from there. What we want to do, we gotta be very quick with on the sticks, obviously, so that we can get everything set up. But we're just adjusting back and forth. Cover 2 sink. I like to move these linebackers back as well, just in case of the quick streak to one of these guys right here. Usually we'll put this guy in a deep blue like that. And basically you just want to adjust. So I'll have cover 2 from either side, and then we'll decide on which slot corner we want to bring. So hope you guys enjoyed this free defensive ebook, man. Hope you guys liked this video. Comment down below for the giveaway. My coaching lessons are now available. So definitely check that out in the description below, man. I appreciate the support so much. We passed that 1,000 subscribers. And until next time, I'm out.